back on this rap-ish. I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list. Hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues. Guess if you ain't at the table, you on the menu. And I'm that spitter, baby. They don't want you to see, but everybody's south of Capitol Hill's rocking with me. Boys smoke the trays and ponder getting their life together. I'm comfortable with my role, so I'm like, whatever. Me? I ain't got a job, but I work hard. And you don't work hard, but you got a job. The irony is I'm judged while you feel the applause. I'm slept on, that's why I had to set this alarm. My dudes is armed, I'm armed with this arm charm. Body banging like she got that cream from Barry Bonds. Yeah.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
That Dre season is here, a real hitter with a mic, I'm everything that they fear. With that hood ain't the same, I was all on their ass, I'm level-headed. So yo, my dudes love when I spaz, and I'm so over Seattle's passive-aggressive attitude. They don't call you back, what they really saying is F you. While I'm from the same place, I move at a different pace. I prefer if you just said it to my face, damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it
I hate
for
these
us.
average dudes with they average spit, writing average rhymes, knocking average chicks. The closer I get, I can feel the people starting to shift. I'm loyal to a fault, and everybody can't come with. Rap's a rich man's game, I'm only playing with change. They bang models and singers, I'm knocking my old flame, I'm different. The crowd, I move with the chosen few. Black thoughts, I could be the front man for the roots. No diamonds and gold, I'm on my sticks and stones. If we can see your panty line, you should have on a thong. My team is strong, through this fire we forged a bond. And they already know what it is when I get on. To the hearse, party like it's December 31st. When I'm on my deathbed, I probably cracking my nurse. You ain't got the bars to compete, I'm a verbal athlete. Deflating these boys so they say that I cheat. Damn, I did it.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Yeah. I should probably start by apologizing for the long wait, man. You know, I know I be tripping. But I'm not just a rapper, I'm an artist. And, you know, my creative process is a little bit different than most. Nonetheless, I want to welcome everybody out to the Dre's Experience. I got TCF in the building. My whole camp's here with me. I got the band in here laying this cool-ass vibe. And I'm Seattle's own. Let's get into it.
Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Update Show. I am your co-host, Trey Holiday, and I am here in the studio with my partner, my guy. What up, Big O? Happy Friday.
Trey Holiday.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm here, man.
Yeah.
I mean, we made it. We made it through the week.
Yeah.
It's Friday. We got some headlines that are kind of down at the beginning of the show. Then we're gonna bring in Besa, and we're gonna turn it into a feel-good Friday here.
There we go. We always need those feel-goods, man, on Friday.
Yeah.
Sprinkle it with all the love.
Sprinkle it up. Want to welcome everybody to the Morning Update Show. Remind you, this is the perfect time right now to tag and share the stream. Go ahead and tag and share the stream with people who you feel could appreciate culturally relevant news and information emanating from right here in Emerald City.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man, first we got to get to a sad news this morning. Broke about an hour and a half ago as we lost brother DMX. They said that DMX passed away this morning. I believe we have a motion for a graphic. DMX passed away this morning, 50 years old.
50 years old, man. And honestly, a real legend in the hip hop game and for Black culture. I mean, just rest in paradise, Mr. DMX, man. This is a heartbreaking one for so many people out there.
I think is as well is that with DMX it's crazy because like we all know people like X.
Yeah.
Hella talent, and then a lot of times it's drugs or other things. It's just, man, keeps pulling them down, you know?
Yeah, I mean, we have heard this story many times, particularly in the creative world, in creative fields. You know, you have so many people who just are brilliant in their craft, brilliant in what they do. And yet there's these other things. And DMX was so honest and candid about it. I mean, he would talk about it in his music and interviews all the time, you know, saying he felt like he had this kind of demon on his back, this devil on his shoulder. I mean, he would talk about it in such a multitude of ways that, you know, we were on that journey with him, right? And I think so many of us were really rooting for his recovery. I mean, he had gone through several different bouts of recovery. And, you know, every time it was like, you know, if you got him in an interview when he had just come out of something, and it was like, you could see the life in his eyes, you know what I'm saying? And then unfortunately, man, you know, it wasn't enough in this one, man, in this case.
Yep, wishing our brother DMX Godspeed, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, real impact is so much music, and even that story. And I remember during the time when they were like really DMX Rough Riders just exploded on the scene. I remember being out there working in New York, doing some radio promotion and all that. So it was, man, it's a trip. Moving on to other disturbing news. Here's the update today from the Derek Chauvin trial out of Minneapolis. There's a clip right here from CBS this morning.
The prosecution in Derek Chauvin's murder trial is strongly attacking the defense argument that the fired police officer is not what killed George Floyd. Prosecutors called 3 medical experts to lay out exactly what they say led to Floyd's death in Minneapolis. And as Jamie Yukas reports, all of them dismissed the defense theory of a drug overdose. We do have to warn you that this testimony may be hard to listen to.
A healthy person subjected to what Mr. Floyd was subjected to would have died.
Dr. Martin Tobin, who has written what is considered the Bible of textbooks on lung function, testified that George Floyd died due to the weight on his neck and back, leaving no room for his lungs to expand.
Half of his body weight plus half his gear weight is coming down. That's 91.5 pounds is coming down directly on Mr. Floyd's neck. The cause of death is a low level of oxygen that caused the brain damage and caused the heart to stop.
In a video so disturbing we are not airing it, Tobin showed in slow motion Floyd taking his last breath.
When he last take a breath, the knee remains on the neck for another 3 minutes and 27 seconds. After there's no pulse, the knee remains on the neck for another 2 minutes and 44 seconds.
The defense argues that the drugs in Floyd's system, as well as his underlying health conditions, led to his death. But Tobin was clear throughout.
If somebody is suffering from a fentanyl overdose, you would see a depression in the respiratory system.
Yes.
Did you see any depression in Mr. Floyd's ability to breathe whatsoever before he went unconscious?
No, absolutely not.
Thursday's last witness, Dr. William Smock, backed up Dr. Tobin's assessment.
Mr. Floyd died from positional asphyxia, which is a fancy way of saying he died because he had no oxygen left in his body.
Did you consider other possibilities as causes that you evaluated and dismissed as unlikely?
Absolutely.
Joe Tamburino is a Minnesota criminal defense attorney who is not affiliated with the case.
If you were defending Derek Chauvin, would you tell him to testify?
At this point, I would tell him to testify because there's been such damning information that's gone in. Really, why not?
The city's chief medical examiner is expected to testify today. He ruled Floyd's death as a homicide and the cause as cardiac arrest complicated by restraint and neck compression. That means the defense can make a case that Chauvin complicated Floyd's death but did not actually cause it. Anthony?
Jamie, thank you.
So tired of this pulling at straws, and when we see testimony like that is so effective and coming from experts to say it wasn't about these other things that the defense has been throwing out there, trying to put doubt in the minds of the jurors. At the end of the day, I am really sitting here like willing that the jurors are listening to these experts. And I love how the prosecutor said, look, I mean, we're also able to examine other opportunities, other possibilities, and dismiss them. And they said, yes, that is key to this. It is key to, again, spotlighting How the defense, I guess, is doing their job by trying to cause doubt, trying to put these other ideas out there. But they are getting smacked down time and time again. Oh, period.
Yeah, I think it's real troubling as well as when we say that, when you hear him saying that Floyd was dead and this guy's knee remained on his neck, remained there for minutes afterwards. He'd already taken his last breath, and then the knee remained there. You know, when it's almost coming up on a year, and since May of last year, I've been saying, like, man, what a crime against humanity. It's like, and a lot of people, I think most people get, but some people are like, crime against humanity, what do you mean? Is one person, this and that? It's because the whole world got to see the inhumanity, the disregard for humanity that was showed towards George Floyd, and it's impacted people's humanity around the world.
Yeah.
You know, it's only going to get worse as the trial goes on. But this trial is, like I said, it's moving along. And this morning, more disturbing testimony as they had on the medical examiner. And the medical examiner talked about how George Floyd had scrapes on his face because basically he was doing anything to try to get air. So his face was scraping against the cement. And so
91 pounds, man. 91 pounds, they said, was on his neck. I mean, you cannot, all on his body. Like, you know, he had nothing, no room on his back. He had all this pressure on his back, pressure on his neck.
You got to remember, it's his neck, his torso, his like, you know.
His lungs couldn't expand. They're saying it right there.
Yeah. So, as usual, we'll stay on top of that. We'll have another update from the Derek Chauvin trial on Monday. Let's keep remembering George Floyd is not on trial here. Derek Chauvin is. Next headline here, Trey Holiday. Some news came out of the King County Jail, and this is info that we've kind of known anecdotally for a long time, but there's a big report that came out about the King County Jail and the disparities inside of the King County Jail, especially when it comes to Black inmates. This is a clip right here from Q13 News.
Well, in other news, more than 30,000 people are booked into King County jails every single year. And now a new audit released today reveals a string of racial disparities inside the system.
Some of those disparities can last beyond a person's time behind bars, which can impress negative impacts on the communities that the criminal justice system is ultimately trying to protect. Q13 Steve Kiggins takes a deeper look into the data.
Our biggest customer is the city of Seattle.
Ever since the pandemic, the number of people behind bars in King County is hundreds fewer than before. But the issue of safety for community members and county employees is at the heart of this hearing. At issue, this new 60-plus page audit reviewing approximately 3 years of the inner workings at jails in both Kent and Seattle reveals the county lacks a comprehensive risk management strategy.
We are the second largest mental institution in the state.
Not only did the audit reveal as many as 10 people arrested every day who are in need of psychiatric housing don't get it, but racial disparities mean Black inmates more often face harsher disciplinary actions, are placed in higher security units, and systemic racism perpetuates the cycle. The agency's director says outdated technology keeps the institution from gathering good data to make better plans.
Is that something that is tracked on an officer by officer basis?
Right now, it's all a paper system. That's why we want to move over to a system where it's much more easy to look at. But in the meantime, that doesn't stop us from looking backwards also. And that's why I believe bringing in local universities as well as our own study will be very helpful to look at that.
The audit also reveals Black populations stay behind bars longer than other communities, and physical altercations leave the public and jail staff at higher risk for injury inside the Seattle facility.
Jail is not a place that people go and somehow leave transformed and changed for anyone, particularly people of color.
Sean Good, director of Choose 180, a diversionary program that offers restorative justice and a way to avoid jail for those facing charges, says the audit proves how the criminal justice system lacks meaningful reform.
We've continued to perpetuate this narrative that this is the way that we keep communities safe, when in reality, it's just the way that we hide people who are suffering.
The agency's director, former SPDF chief John Diaz, says his department is investing in new technology systems to capture better data. and will soon address the audit's dozens of recommended changes. But for good, the audit highlights what he believes, that criminal justice means nothing if it's riddled with systemic bias without there's anything for reformation.
This system of jailing people is one we've invested in for far too long, and we do not see the transformation that we're looking for, and this report demonstrates exactly why.
Steve Kiggins, Q13 News.
Yeah, it's a lot of people talking about this report, the audit that came out around the King County Jail.
I mean, well, as you said it in the setup, I mean, honestly, these are numbers that so many of us have been understanding for a very long time. And I'm really glad that they talked to our brother Sean Good, because he is really an expert in this matter. And the fact that, you know, he was iterating there that, you know, look, jails do not inherently reform anyone. We keep talking about this. We keep talking about a need for something else, and that this is really how people get more and more criminalized. They deepen themselves more and more in criminal activity. Oftentimes the recidivism is so high, and we see here when we talk about a lot of those numbers, we talk about, you know, incidents of violence inside of the jails and how it is despairingly affecting more and more Black inmates than anyone else. These are the kind of numbers that we've known about, the fact that they get treated differently while they're on the inside. I mean, this is what I've heard from people who have served time. They understand this, and it's been a part of their lived experience for many years. Oh,
yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, just basically, even if it's, I mean, just be fair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I know it's an argument about, you know, different options. People go to jail, not go to jail, whether there should be jails or no jails. Currently, there are jails. And man, just be fair.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the numbers consistently come out, and that of what we see down there in the jail. It's a lot of movement right now around that jail. And the jail is operated by the sheriff's office. There's calls for the sheriff, you know, to step down. Anyways, we're gonna play the clip here, but we're gonna talk to some experts over the weekend and go further into this jail story on Monday.
That's good, because I mean, there's always probably so much more to uncover here. A lot of nuance that people don't really understand unless they're part of it. So yeah, it's great.
All right, good stuff. Well, I think it's time that we change the tone and tenor of Friday now. We're going to shake it off a bit and go into our feel-good Friday mode here, and we're going to take a break. On the other side of the break, though, we have Besa Gordon from the Rewind with Besa. I'm sure I've got a handcrafted macaroni glued to the paper motion graphic back there. So, voila. Besa Gordon from the Rewind with Besa. It's going to be talking about what the show tomorrow is going to be on. I'm sure she'll probably have a few words about DMX. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, I did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
Yeah, it's hard to get one going with Grab Rock, man. All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury.
I'm Trey Holiday.
All right, and now I'm nervous. All right. Oh, yeah. D'Alessandro.
D'Alessandro.
Man, you know what? This is a work in progress here, okay?
That's good. That's good.
Please bring in Besa Gordon.
You guys are wild.
It's that Friday energy, baby. Hey, Besa.
I'm saying it's like Besa Gordon is pretty, easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Besa, good morning. How are you?
Good. I'm well rested today. All is well. How are you guys?
Doing well.
You sound good over there.
I went to sleep early last night because I did TikToks all throughout the day. So, I was in bed at like 12. I had my coffee, brushed my hair. It's a good day.
I think it's what you call between her and JC from the OVT network. They're the most TikToking people, man.
Hey.
But it's crazy. Like JC, he put out something. He's got like 200,000 views on something now. Man. Black History.
Love it. TikToking it out.
I'm working on it. I got one video that has 57,000 views.
Right on.
So I'm gonna get there. one day.
All right, so good stuff. So, but before we get into the rewind, of course, we all heard the news this morning before the show. The DMX man passed away. A long struggle with DMX. He had a long struggle in his career with such a talented artist, but also struggles with addiction. What are your thoughts based on DMX?
I definitely think it's unfortunate that we ended up losing him, not to old age, not to sickness, but I guess you could say it's a form of sickness, being that addiction is somewhat of an illness, if you think of it that way. Like, in a nutshell, last week, he had a drug overdose, went into a coma, and they had to take him off of life support today. So it's just really unfortunate. And I think that there's a lot of people that feel bad right about now because they wish they could have done more to help them. But what I always tell people is you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped, but you can at least try.
Yeah. I think it's a lot of us, man. DMX, there's some good memories on these X songs. I wanted to play all of them today, but I'm sure the Def Jam is going to strike our whole show.
Exactly.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that they're serious about that ownership, man.
Yeah. All right, so we got the rewind with Basic tomorrow, and I've got a handcrafted overlay here. You see what I'm saying? Voila! All right, so tell us. I know you don't want to reveal too much because it's a live show tomorrow, and you'll have Holly Michelle there. But man, tell us about it.
So this is gonna be my first show where I actually bring an artist on. So it's gonna be fun. It'll be the visual way that I typically would do my interviews at the station, which is I have the artist come in. They're more like a co-host than just an interview. So we're gonna talk about the Netflix movie Seaspiracy. She's actually vegan, so we're gonna talk about that a little bit in her weight loss journey within that topic. Of course, we're gonna touch on DMX and how there were so many rumors going around yesterday before his family was even able to announce his death. Rapper YG from California, apparently he got one of his songs taken off of YouTube and Spotify because of some Asian hate within there. I never heard that line before, but it's there. So we're gonna talk about that. I'm going to give my predictions on the Derek Chauvin case because, as you guys may or may not know, every single weekday I call into the Wake Up Show on Cube, and then I do like a quick recap of what happened in the case. So she and I are gonna talk about that. And then especially within the YG topic, I want to talk to her, being that she is an artist, about censorship. You know what I mean? Like, people say this is my art, I should be able to say whatever I want, but then all of a sudden there's a movement, then you have to start taking things out of your music. He basically had to redo the song or edit the song in order to upload it back to YouTube. So we're gonna talk about that. And then of course she just recently dropped a project, so we'll talk about her project.
All right. Well, it looks like our director won't let us let you go until she kicks me off the camera.
I know that's right.
I'm tired of this.
You know what it is, Besa. I am so glad that Holly Michelle will be on and that you guys are going to be talking about some things. I'm going to have to tune in because I've been moving into veganism myself, my girl. And let me tell you, there are some amazing recipes. So I'm going to have to chime in and hear what she's talking about on the vegan tip, as well as her career. I got one question for you. This is going to be, like you said, it's new, but how are you feeling bringing an artist in live to the studio to be with you?
It's interesting because I'm used to bringing artists into studios, but without cameras everywhere. So it's like typically whenever I have an interview with an artist, it's like, okay, it's me, it's them, maybe their managers, and then we're just in the studio. There's no cameras. You're able to edit. You're able to like pull things out. Like this is a full on, hey, what's up? You're pulling up to the Wendy show and you're hosting it with me type thing. So it's a show that I'm trying to not overcomplicate, but still make sure that it's able to tie in with her. So I'm excited to do something new and see how it comes out. I think it'll be amazing.
Right on. Well, congratulations.
Yeah, I'm directing.
He's welcome back.
Well, yeah, well, thank you. I'm directing tomorrow, so I gotta make sure and bring my bucket of ice.
There you go.
Well, I'll be ready. I remember that topic y'all had. I was.
You can't even say it. I cannot.
I was at my dad's house down in North Carolina. I was watching it. My dad was like, son, you need some ice. All right. Good stuff, Besa. So look, we'll check you tomorrow at 2:00. Everywhere where you're watching the Morning Update show, you can catch the Rewind with Besa.
I know that's right. Bye, guys.
All right. Catch you later.
Bye, Besa. Love the energy, man. And I'm thankful we were able to turn it back up on Feel Good Friday.
Yeah.
Besa's always going to bring that good, feel good energy.
Besa always brings good energy, man. You know what I'm saying? It's always a boost. So we're doing something special here today. You know, we talked about the four films that Converge Media produced alongside Vanish in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
All four were shot by Jake Gravbrot. Eric Calligraphy came in on a few of them as well. And today we're going to actually air the one that we shot about the massive monkeys. So it's pretty dope. If you're Seattle and, you know, if you're music and if you're hip hop culture, then you know the massive monkeys, everything else. So it's pretty dope. We're going to take a short break right now. And when we come back, we're just going to go directly into our Vanishing Seattle Converge Media collaboration with the Massive Monkeys. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
I did it for the city, did it for the love, I did it for the people, I did it for us.
Back on this rap ish, I ain't even broke a sweat, homie, this practice. Pondering my next move, staring at my track list, hope I ain't miss my window. Praying like a Baptist, Seattle's own. Tired of this Game of Thrones. They made a list of the best rappers, and guess who wasn't on? While the disrespect continues, I'm steady packing these venues.
Converge Media produces culturally relevant content for Black and urban audiences. Our coverage is raw, transparent, and objective, praised by community leaders, government officials, and residents. Support Converge Media today via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal at Converge Media.
My name is Bryson Angeles. I go by B-Boy Just B, and I'm from the Massive Monkeys crew. Massive Monkeys crew was started in 1999. Really at the core of everything that we are, we're just a group of friends. All into hip hop, all into art, all into dance, got together, stuck with it, and we're able to do a lot of good things through breaking and hip hop and friendship. We won multiple world championships, one in 2013 in Korea, and one in 2004 in London. As performers, we performed on some pretty big stages, NBA All-Star Game, on tour with Macklemore, Ryan Lewis, performed at the Video Music Awards, European Music Awards. I guess you could break up our accolades into a couple of things. We've done a lot of great things in community. Number one, educating and teaching people about the culture and what we do. Maybe the most important thing we do. We get the audience by winning world championships, getting to these huge stages. And then the other part, at the heart of what we do, is like battling. Competition. It's competition. It's what drives us to be better, to show better. And there's a couple people in the crew who are super, super competitive, and they kind of drive everybody else to be as competitive as them, which is a blessing. It's a good thing. 2013, we opened the Beacon for Massive Monkeys to operate a lot of the classes, workshops, do a lot of the programming that we were doing with other organizations. It actually became something much bigger than that, that was more about the entire local community of dancers. There's a lot of people who were really great at what they do, but didn't have like a huge spotlight on them or places where people could recognize or see them, or people were just bubbling on their potential, like, I just need a place to like test these things or try these things that I want to teach, or I want to learn more about these things. And what the Beacon became was like a place where like all of this collected, gathered energy that we had done since '99, we're like able to like hone it in on one place to bring some attention here, and then all the people around and all the people who played a part in us growing and developing, old school, new school, people who are coming after us, all like converged in this place. So it was like, it wasn't the plan. It wasn't the plan for what this was gonna be, but that was probably the most beautiful thing, how it connected a lot of people, re-engaged a lot of people, and then launched new people, where I'm watching some of the younger cats, like, they're amazing in Seattle. They're amazing in Seattle. And all the people who are coming into the space built the space. I'm happy to be in here. I'm happy to see what it is. I'm happy to reflect on it and see that how much great things happen here. But even on the way moving out, it was like, it's all good. Like, this is just the timing of it. This is the pandemic. This is the timing. Like, for us, it was like we had spent 8 years in here. We're not even able to hold classes right now. You know what I mean? Like, and 6 feet apart, you imagine how many people you have to stack in here to make rent. We can get all these people seeing us and ready to do it, but if we can't come in the space, then what are we doing it for? So it's tough to leave this space, but we very much made a conscious decision that it was the right thing to do at the time. Honestly, being in the space now is like, don't let it fool you. Running the business was tough. Like, running a business was tough. I got into it as an artist, like all these ideas, all these visions, some idea of how to execute on it, but I'm an artist, and I wanted to open a dance studio because I'm a dancer, and this is the community. But I think that the city did well in helping recognize us on our way up after winning world championships, giving us recognition for Massive Monkeys Day, Mayor's Arts Award. These type of things were great for us because it almost gave the trust of some of the community who may not know who we are. I think if the city continues to do that around arts and around artists and around things that aren't so accepted, then maybe we can help other people like us at a younger age do it. I think that we did great as business owners. Me and my partner Jasmine, we figured things out when it needed to. For like 2 or 3 years during us being in the space, I was touring with Macklemore, and so with the leadership of certain crew members and Jasmine being a big part of it, who was running a lot of the business kind of quietly, and she's doing a lot of the tough work, like a lot of the administration and operations, and so when I took off, she continued to do that. But the artists and the dancers and the teachers and a lot of people like, yo, how can I help? When you're gone, how can I help? How can I do this? And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And so it was dope, but truthfully, that kind of shit was going on in here the whole time. There's like classrooms full of kids. You know what I mean? Like classrooms full of young kids, old kids, adults who are just stepping into what breaking is, or these hip hop dance styles, or these funk dance styles, or these dance styles that are like all about community. You know what I mean? They're all about how can we come together in a room, dance, vibe out, share energy. So many people are coming into the studio all the time getting introduced to what this is, you know what I mean? Because our audience was so diverse, or the people coming in to do classes, then there's parents and people who wouldn't know about the space otherwise. They're like, yo, but there's this dope, wide open dance studio that's in Chinatown, so anything from a kid's birthday party to a wedding reception to community activists coming together to strategize. There were so many things happening in here. 1, by location, I think 2, by how welcoming and opening we are and accepting of whatever, whoever, whatever it is. Like, if it's tight and it's positive, let's do something together, yeah. I think a big thing the public can do is support the dancers and the teachers who are working here. As the business owner, my first thing was when we shut down is like, how can I help support them? But because we're shutting down and we're paying our exit fee on lease, like I don't have a huge amount of finances that we could get to them. So any way that you can support the teachers and the people who are working at the Beacon, motivated to continue doing what they're doing, then when we're ready to open a space, then as long as they're thriving and they're good, then we'll have a place to come back to together. Yep. Thanks for having me. Have a good day. Good?
Wow, I really, really love seeing, again, such a staple of the community. You know, honestly, one of the things that he said there that really struck me was there was so many amazing organic things happening in that space. And it really represents what cultural and community space is. And I think he's absolutely dead on spot right that if the city prioritizes culture and arts and artistry, that we know it will come back again, thriving as it always has. It's been such a staple of our culture here in Seattle, man. And, you know, to see that story of the Massive Monkeys, I mean, they have been huge advocates in their community and just giving classes, teaching folks. And as he said, man, really a staple. So I love that story. And shout out to everybody who worked on that to bring it together. It was shot so well, edited so nicely. Great questions by the interviewers to get him to pull out of that amazing
Cynthia.
narrative. Exactly. Like, I mean, congrats to everybody working on that piece. And I know that was a real feat of Converge Media and Vanishing Seattle to pull those movies together.
Right. And so a few things, definitely want to give some thanks to City of Seattle Department of Neighborhoods. Neighborhoods are a big supporter of this project. And also our supporters, our subscribers, our Patreon team, everybody else. I mean, it's like when people donate to Converge, our $5 family, like wherever it is, this is exactly what we're trying to do is, bring you news and information, but we also, in a bigger sense, we want to be able to tell important stories about our community and about our city. So, I mean, thank you so much for that. And a very special thank you again to Jake Gravbrot. Shot all 4 of these Vanishing Seattle films.
Man, my guy, Jake, man. And it's so crazy because the first photo he took of me, I said, oh, yeah. Every day that we can make it happen, he's amazing. His aesthetic is amazing again. And for me, it's almost always about the story. And so hearing that amazing story of the Massive Monkeys, their resilience, being able to be in that space for 8 years as an artist collective like that, that's already massive in and of itself. So congrats to everybody who's been a part of the family of Massive Monkeys. You guys have been doing amazing things. And I know that you guys will continue to do amazing things.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to take a break right now. We got one more segment. We got a short show today. We got a production at the top of the hour. But I got something nice for you to end a Feel Good Friday on. You're watching the Morning Update Show.
Public Health, Seattle, King County, Zero Youth Detention, along with our partners from across the South King County region, are committed to reducing violence and creating the conditions needed for our neighborhoods to be safe and free of crime. Too often, the response to crime and violence has been a piecemeal approach with a program here and a program there. When family units collapse, schools fail to educate, the economy fails to produce jobs, and crime rises, we've looked to law enforcement and punitive measures to save us. Nothing could be more wrong or further from the truth. Law enforcement can't shoulder all the burden or take the rest of us off the hook. We are acknowledging the lived experiences of Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities. We are centering community as the experts who can effectively identify key issues related to systems, policies, and practices that impact children, families, and communities of color across this region. Those most impacted by the issues will help call out and identify the root causes, including structural and systemic factors. 150 residents will partner with King County to develop strategies, solutions, and an action plan that explicitly addresses system changes needed and eliminates barriers to access for Black, Brown, and Indigenous folks. These residents will also identify the criteria used to measure our collective success. Simply put, we need your help as we do the work needed to make King County the safest in this country. It will take specific commitments from all of us, community members, our young people, elders, and leaders from the sectors all across this region. Together, we will get this work done. Please click the link below and sign up for a work group. Or you can recommend a co-facilitator from community for each work group. We look forward to hearing your ideas, concerns, feedback, and solutions as we build a community where all our children can be happy, healthy, hopeful, safe, and thriving.
All right, welcome back to the Morning Update Show. I want to remind people, man, stay engaged in community, especially right here in King County, ZeroYouthDetention.com / work groups. Give your input, your feedback, how we can improve public safety around the county.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that we have that PSA in there. We're always talking about it. I know I'm always saying it. See yourself as a part of the solution. Become a part of the solution. That's one way to do it, man.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so one last clip here before we get out of here. You know, we got to leave it in a feel good kind of way. You heard of Black Violin?
Oh, here we go. Teach me something, Dad.
Oh, okay. Yes, these two brothers who play the violin. I saw them here a few years ago at Moore Hall, and as youth, my Omari and Omi, in case he's watching, and Acacia, they used to play violin and cello and all kinds of stuff, right? And so there wasn't a lot of representation around those instruments, and so Black Violin hit the scene. It was like, whoa. Here's a clip right here from CBS this morning, and they're talking about Black Violin.
As many schools continue remote learning and arts budgets face big cuts, as you know, 2 Grammy-nominated musicians, they are stepping up to the plate to help. Black Violin is a group. They're teaching kids all around the country to quote one of their hit songs. They're proving the impossible is possible. That is true. Manuel Bojorquez shares their story as part of our series, A More Perfect Union, showing once again that what unites us as Americans is far greater than what divides us.
We can do anything.
Chances are you haven't heard classical music that sounds like this.
We can go anywhere.
You don't need a cello if you could do that, right?
It's the sound of Black Violin, the genre-bending duo working to help students, like those attending their old school, Parkway Middle in Florida, follow in their footsteps.
What made you guys pick up this instrument?
They inspired me. One time I saw them at my elementary school and I just started freestyling, doodle-doodle, whatever they usually do. And I was like, wow, they sound great.
Slide all the way up. You in the back right there. You see?
Black Violin's Kev Marcus and Will Baptiste grew up in working-class neighborhoods in Fort Lauderdale. At first, neither had any interest in playing a string instrument.
I wanted to play the saxophone, they put me in the wrong class. True story. And I was stuck in the class for 2 weeks, and I just, after like the first week, I really started falling in love with this instrument.
I remember Will always, after class, he would always just kind of hop around and stuff. And then every now and then he'll hop around and play like these chords, these D'Angelo chords on the piano. And then he'll sing Brian McKnight. That was his thing.
Oh,
and then eventually, I kind of started playing, and then all of the other people in the orchestra room started kind of trying to collaborate. And that's, I think, when it started kind of the beginning.
Those early orchestra jams, blending hip-hop and classical music, became the hallmark of Black Violin's sound, launching a career that's seen them perform for the Obama family and with the National Symphony Orchestra, with Marcus and Baptiste shattering stereotypes along the way.
I mean, we're big black guys, We're we should be playing basketball or football. No one ever expects us to play violin. And so when you do something that you're not supposed to do, you can change the way people see you. Yeah, music saves us in a lot of ways. And now I think we pay that forward. Nice.
To pay it forward, the duo conducts workshops for students from low-income backgrounds.
See, there we go.
Their foundation also provides grants and financial assistance to aspiring artists.
Without the foundation, I wouldn't have been able to pay for Juilliard Pre-College.
They really enabled me to be able to have summer lessons and participate in a summer program. Without their funds, I really don't know how that would have been possible for me.
Shine like the sun, the moon, the stars.
And during the pandemic, the two are hosting virtual events for students across the nation.
Thank you. Really amazing music. I really loved it.
Amazing cannot describe the type of music I just heard.
We're showing representation, we're showing creativity, and then they react that way. It's almost just sort of a reminder of how important what we do is.
Like I couldn't go this way.
Do you see yourselves reflected in these kids?
Absolutely. And that's why we wake up in the morning and perform for these kids, because we see ourselves in these kids and they see themselves in us. To be at this level, being able to do something that you love and travel the world and being able to inspire and uplift the world, I mean, it's just, it's a dream come true for sure.
For CBS This Morning, Manuel Bajorquez.
Gosh,
Wow.
thank you, Will and Kev. I love Kev. I think it was Will who said he was put in the wrong class. Sometimes you get in the wrong class and good things happen.
Yeah. There's so much joy in what they do, and you can see how it spreads so easily.
You can also see those kids as little sponges just soaking it all up.
Absolutely.
I know.
Nice
Going
nice
places
job.
as a result of that exposure, too.
Kev said it best, when you do something you're not supposed to do, people see you differently, and it
exactly
can change things. You're so right about that.
It's true. It's
Nicely done. Nicely done.
Yeah, nicely done indeed. And one of the things that I love so much about this entire story is not only have they done amazing things with regard to artistry, but they said, we know it's important to be real examples for the young people, the next generation of artists, the next generation, so they can see themselves in this very same light. And I love that so much. Oh, when we talk about young people being able to see someone that looks like them doing amazing things, it gives them a whole other pathway. I think so much we talk about, like they said, sports and, hey, your stature, it means you have to do this. But I love that so much of what they're doing is giving back to these young people. What a great Feel Good Friday story, my friend.
Yeah, no, for sure. And when things, I guess, get back to normal, or this new normal, if you get an opportunity to catch them live, it's an amazing show that they do. I mean, it's really, really dope. So a few things before we get out of here. County Executive Constantine office reached back out, and so Monday, and they triple checked. It was like, yeah, he'll be here. So Monday we have Martin Luther King County Executive Dow Constantine will be talking about this COVID package and some of the other things that the county is doing. We're also going to be talking about what the county is doing around the issues of youth gun violence and gun violence disruption. So that's going to be Monday. And then don't forget, 2:00 tomorrow, we have the Rewind with Besa. Voila. See, this stuff's moving today.
Looks good.
Yeah, it is. And then a Sunday, and I don't have a graphic for everybody but my show. Sunday, 7:00 is the first episode of The District. And we have the full interview with City of Seattle Deputy Mayor Tiffany Washington. Any last words before we get out of here, Trey?
Hey, man, continue to see yourself as a part of the solution, guys. We give you opportunities. We show you a couple of ways to do so. Get out there and research some awesome ways where you can bring your brilliance to bear in terms of amazing solutions.
All right, good stuff. As usual, before we go, I want to remind you, go forward in your purpose, go forward in your humanity. And until Monday at 11 a.m., peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth in heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought.
blazing the ride.